I probably lost my mind with this concept, but let's just see how this goes. You might like it, you might not. Hi, readers. It's Lori. Welcome back to my channel, Books, Ink, and Paper, or welcome if this is your first time. This is a concept I don't think I've ever seen anyone do. I have no idea. It's possible somebody has, but it just came in my mind one day when I was thinking about content and I thought I would give it a try. You may love it. You may think, what in the world has happened to her? Either way, it'll be okay. So I've chosen 10 books, and so they all have some sort of a tie to what you might be doing or eating or experiencing for Thanksgiving dinner. I know. Let's get started. So the first one is Homegoing by Ya Jassy. This one is because we often have family that comes together during the holiday season to feast on the birds and the vegetables and all of the things. And this one I got from my friend Krista at Books and Jams. She was doing a giveaway of some stuff that she'd had on her shelves. And I really want to get to this one because part of this timeline is set in Mississippi. So I can't wait. But this is about, it's set in Ghana. In the 18th century, two half-sisters are born into different villages and they're completely unaware that the other one exists. The one sister goes on to marry a very affluent man and to live in this beautiful mansion and have a very posh life. The other sister is sent into slavery and ends up in Mississippi in the cotton fields and is really living a terrible life. And so what happens is the parallel paths of these sisters go through 8 generations, through the Civil War to the Jazz Age in Harlem, and it is the legacy of slavery as well as the disconnection of people and how their lives can change dramatically. I can't wait to get to this one, and I've never read anything by this author. So Homegoing just represents the people that come to their home to celebrate Thanksgiving. Get it? You're getting there. This one is The Full Cupboard of Life by Alexander McCall Smith. I have not read anything by this author either, but this one is about Ma Ramatswe. I know, I had to look up how to say Ma. It's really Ma. It's not just Ma. It's Ma, okay? Ramatswe. And there are all kinds of things that happen in these books, but this is book 5, so I don't want to get too connected to what happens here in case it spoils a little, but the full cupboard of life just really represents the food that you have probably stocked in your cupboards, as well as the dishes that we think are special for the Thanksgiving meal. But this definitely is a mystery, and she has weighty matters on her mind, approached by a wealthy lady to check up on the intentions of several suitors. These sound really fun and funny, maybe not cozy, but I don't know because I haven't read any of them yet, but I have a bunch of them on my shelves. This one is for sort of your beginning, getting together, and then, of course, you realize that you're not ready for the main course yet because somebody maybe didn't put the bird in on time, or maybe you just need a little snack because you've tried not to eat all day to make room for all the stuff, but you definitely need a little something. So this is Cheddar Off Dead by Karina Moss. This is the first in her series. That is the Cheese Shop Mystery Series. I have not gotten to this either. So this one is about cheesemonger Willa Bauer, and she has a company called Curds and Whey in the heart of the Sonoma Valley, and she's French-inspired cheesemonger, and something happens in her place. There's a critic that comes in, and he does not give her a good review, and the next thing you know, he's been murdered. Now a prime suspect, Willa has always believed life's problems can be solved with cheese, but she never tried to apply that to murder. I love this. I just don't know why. Well, I know why. I have too many books. I'm sharing with you books that I own and want to read or have read, but not many of them have been read. All right, so then the vegetables. The vegetables. We all need the vegetables. So The Forgotten Garden by Kate Morton. This is three timelines. I know that's a lot, right? And I'm going to have to look because I won't remember. 1913, First World War. Everything is in chaos, obviously, and a little girl is found abandoned after they evacuated, and she's moved from England to Australia. And all she remembers is that someone promised to look after her, but that woman has vanished without a trace. The next timeline is 1975. Now an older woman travels to England to discover the truth about her parents, and she tries to discover where they were, which leads her to an estate called Blackhurst Manor in Cornwall. And it had been owned by the Mounttrachet family or Mounttrachet family. And then in 2005, Nell has died, and her granddaughter shows up to this little cottage where her grandma lived to try to find out the whole story behind her grandmother's life, birth to death. And I've never gotten to this. I won't read this copy because I don't ever want to mess these up, but I love these copies. These are from Pan Macmillan, and they're Sophie Alport versions of these. I wish they would have done all of them. There's a couple that I don't have. All right, let's get to the bird, the main courses, right? So whichever bird you choose, Birding by Rose Ruani or Ruan is a book that I got not long ago. I think this is the UK cover, but don't quote me on that because it's been a bit. But this one is about two women, very different lives. The first woman's name is Lydia, and she was in a teen pop group as a young person, and she was very famous. You know how these things have evolved over the years, and we have stories, right, about so many girls who were mistreated and different things happen as they were evolving into this fame. Lydia has definitely been hurt by other people in her life, especially men. So this is the time for her of the Me Too movement, and she's now, of course, reliving some of the things that have happened to her as a younger person. So she goes away for a break and a little vacation where she meets Joyce. She meets Joyce, who's never left home, and she's under the really tight, watchful eye of her mother, Betty, who's a very strict, kind of difficult mother. And so she's had no real life or freedom before, and she's afraid of everything and just tiptoes along the way because she doesn't want to set Betty spiraling. So she stays inside the tracks. But she's middle-aged now, and she's really longing for something else. I mean, who wouldn't if they've been, isolated and bossed around like that, to be able to grow up in such a different way. So the two of them meet each other, I think, on a boardwalk. And they begin to confront their past, the toxic men, the forgotten dreams, the twisted expectations. And can they ever really fly on broken wings is the question that this book asks in the synopsis. And I'd love to get to this. I don't think this is set this time of year, but again, it's about birds. So there you go. And this one also is about birds. So in case you have a chicken or what is that they call where the turkey is also a chicken, which is also I don't know what. Yeah, we don't eat that, but I know a lot of people do. So this is Sarah Addison Allen's Other Birds, and I have read this one. Yay! The one that I've read. I loved this book. This one is so magical and interesting. It's just beautiful. So this is about a Mallow Island, South Carolina, and a young girl comes there, Zoe Hennessy, to a place called the Delowisp, which is an apartment complex where her mother lived, and her mother has passed. And so she is exploring this apartment and her going through her mother's things and trying to understand what her life was like there. But then one of her new neighbors dies, and the other neighbors are kind of isolated, but they begin to come out and connect with each other. And of course, they're all really curious about how this woman died. And so there's a mystery, missing pages from a legendary writer whose work may have been hidden in the apartment. And it was exactly what it says, delightful, atmospheric. I really enjoyed it. It's super short. So this will remind you of any sort of fowl that you love to consume during this time of the year. We have just plain regular turkey, basted in the traditional way. I do put an apple in the cavity of the turkey. I don't know if you do that, but I do. Other than that, I don't do anything really fancy except herbs and spices and basting. All right. You can't have turkey dinner without something special. So The Sauvignon Secret is by Ellen Crosby. This is also a cozy mystery, and it's in the Napa Valley. Virginia's favorite Vinter detective and her winemaker ex-beau investigate the role of a secret society in two mysterious deaths and whether there's hope for their rocky romance. This sounds like a great little wine country experience. And this is the Wine Country Mystery Series, I think. She also wrote The Vintage Vendetta, which is kind of fun. I don't think that this is book one, but let me look and see for you because I don't want to put you on the wrong track. This is not, because there's also one, two, three, four, five, six others that are listed. Moscow Nights, the Merlot Murders, the Chardonnay Charade, you could add that one to your turkey list, the Bordeaux Betrayal, the Riesling Retribution, the Vintage Vendetta. I prefer red wine, but I'm also a fan of most wines, let's just say that. So this one is, they're going to discover and become embroiled in a deadly cat and mouse game to find a killer who's seeking vengeance for a long ago cover up. Okay, I'm all in. That would be fun. So the next one is The Chamomile Lawn by Mary Wesley. Not a fall book, you can tell by the cover. Definitely a summer read, but chamomile tea is one of the best things you can do to sort of settle down all that food that you've consumed during your turkey dinner. So I brought this one forward for that reason. It really is very soothing to have at any time of your day. But nevertheless, this is about the cousins that go from young adult to adulthood. And I read this a long, long time ago and haven't read it since, but I've wanted to. I've almost picked it up multiple times over the years. This one was published in a long, 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 long time ago in 2006 in paperback. So I'm sure it came out, 1984. So I definitely read this forever ago, maybe even in college. It's been a bit. Okay, so these kids are all cousins, five of them. August 1939, they go to their annual trip to their aunt's house in Cornwall, and they have these things that they do, these traditions. One of them is called a terror run, and they're all there together. Some of these kids are older. One is very young, I think, or much younger, and she's not loved by her aunt and uncle, so she had no other parents, and so she was orphaned at birth. But by the end of the evening, war is declared. So they go from these frolicking moments with each other and reuniting in the summer, as they always have, to this space where there's going to be a war and it's going to change their lives. So it's really the story of the war and beyond, into adulthood and into old age, which I really appreciate a story that does that. Losses and lovers, family ties and friends. They fight not to just survive, but to remain true to themselves and to those that they love. So there you go. That one is a possibility for just kind of settling yourself into the evening and being able to sleep. Because I don't know if this is true for you, but if I eat too much for Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner, I don't sleep well. So chamomile is your friend for sure. So now we're going to talk about the leftovers. I know. Where did this come from? I don't know. My crazy mind. This is The Remains of the Day by Kazuo Ishiguro. I have not read this, I don't think. I don't remember reading it, but I've almost read it. I don't know, every few years I look at this, I think of it. I think I've seen the movie first, which is currently on Netflix. And the movie stars Anthony Hopkins, which I recently talked about because he has a biography about himself, an autobiography about himself. And then it has Emma Thompson in it, whom I adore, Hugh Grant, who's a good actor, Christopher Reeve, who I miss deeply. Lots of great stars, but it is definitely about an English butler and his life and the lives of other people that are working with him and that he serves in this place during the end of post-war England, right? So at the end of the 3 decades of service at Darlington Hall, he goes on a country drive and he looks back over his career to really reflect on humanity and being a great gentleman, which is what he is called. And there are also doubts about the true nature of his Lord's greatness and his own faith in the man that he was serving. So I've always wanted to get to this. I feel like it's time. 1930s. I'm sure I'll love it. And I would like to read more books by that author as well. And this last one I've had since 2023, and I could not wait to get to it. Short, not read. The Leftover Woman by Jean Kwok. This one, when it came out, there was something about this, the author and her way of being, but also this plot that really drew me in, and I immediately got it, and I need to get to it. I mean, it wouldn't take me long at all, you guys. This is just 274 pages. Come on now. But this is about two women. I love this plot. Jasmine Yang arrives in New York City from a rural Chinese village without money or family support, fleeing her controlling husband on a desperate search for the daughter who was taken from her at birth because there was a one-child policy in China, so you could only have one child. I can't with this, but that is what happened. Her husband is on her trail looking for her, and she's making really difficult decisions to try to be reunited with her daughter. Now, Rebecca Whitney has it all. She has a great family, she has wealth, she has a high-powered career, a beautiful home, a handsome husband, and, you guessed it, an adopted Chinese daughter that she adores. She's hired a nanny to help her balance the demands of being a working wife and mother. When an industry scandal threatens to jeopardize not only her job but her marriage, the perfect world begins to crumble and her role in her family is called into question. Please encourage me to read this book soon. Maybe this will work for one of my prompts in the readathon I'm doing, or maybe I can convince my book club friends or my booktube friends to read it with me. If you're interested, let me know. I would do a buddy read. Seriously, don't know why I have not gotten to this faster. Interestingly, Karen Slaughter has blurbed this. She says it's an emotional, powerful story about motherhood, family, oppression, immigration, and power. So this is your leftovers. Again, you'll probably have to freeze them because, like me, you might have bought a turkey that's too big and you might have tons and tons of things. I don't know if you have a favorite dish that you love when you have Thanksgiving dinner. For me, I think it's sweet potato souffle, which now my daughter usually makes, which is good because it's quite a lot to make. A friend of mine, when I lived in Budapest, shared that recipe with me, and I've used it forever. A very sweet potato souffle. It's really just a casserole. My daughter brings corn casserole, which she does. My oldest, Sarah, does a great job of. The kids bring whatever they're really great at. I always make deviled eggs because they love deviled eggs as well. And then, of course, I have to make what we call, for some reason, that Candace, when she was a baby, started calling the pink Barbie stuff. So it's really the Barbie stuff, which is actually a Jell-O dessert. And we've always used like the red or pink Jell-O. So it ends up looking pink because we have Cool Whip added to it and pineapples and sugar. And it's just lovely if you love lots and lots and lots of sweets, and my little ones definitely do. So the Barbie stuff always comes out of the refrigerator for them with Cool Whip and all of it. It's just wonderful. If you want the recipe, I'll send it to you. It came in one of my mom's church cookbooks, you remember those, and I've just always made it for them because they have to have the Barbie stuff. So, thanks for watching today. I hope your Thanksgiving dinner is incredibly delicious and peaceful, and that nothing burns and everything tastes amazing, and that you get to relax and read some books after all of the hard work that goes into this process. If you want to leave a comment in the comments below, do tell me what you love, what's your favorite dish. Tell me what you want to make that you never do. Tell me which one of these dishes you don't love making. Tell me if you've ever had a turkey mishap. Tell me if you don't want to make a comment. Share a turkey or an egg or whatever you think of when you look at this particular video. Love to hear from you. Hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving dinner. I hope everything tastes delicious. I hope they help you with the dishes. And as always, I hope you are having a happy reading experience. Bye.